Another, I guess, general FileMaker question I have. So I guess you've said you have like 35 years of, development work and FileMaker experience. So you've seen kind of the growth of FileMaker throughout, from early versions to the newest 2024. Are there any areas of FileMaker that I guess two questions. Are there any areas that you liked seeing where it grew, or other areas of FileMaker that you had wished things happened that just didn't quite happen yet, or any improvements that you enjoyed, didn't enjoy, would like to have seen throughout your years of working with FileMaker?
Well, I like to see all the improvements with FileMaker. I mean, uh, it's been an interesting road. I mean, I've been with FileMaker since back in the FileMaker 2 and 3 days. And, one of the things that Beeswax really liked was that my ability to still be able to take FileMaker, old FileMaker files and be able to upgrade them to the newest versions. There's a special skill set that's required when you are doing versions below 7 to be able to make them into the more contemporary databases. So working with, I think single file solutions, I really like them. There are some times where there are cases where they're not appropriate, but working with a lot of old legacy solutions where you may have 30, 40, 50 files and, managing those files with security privileges and everything else can be a real nightmare.
Mhm.
Uh, so I'm really happy with being able to have, which we just take for granted now, to have multiple tables in one file. Yeah, everything from I wish I could show that I've got one database that still kind of looks like in legacy form, though they're on 19, where all the tabs are actually constructed from Photoshop images. They're not using real tabs. So, and there's a performance penalty on that. The client has never wanted to change things around. I'm usually comfortable with a lot of new technology. I'm still not a big fan of button bars. I prefer the hamburger menu approach instead. I know a lot of people use them for other things besides navigation, uh, but it's my comfort level with those. And I think like most old guys, got kicking and screaming into using JSON, but I'm very comfortable with JSON. I'll use SQL if I have to, but once again, I always try to approach, the easiest solution for me, one that a developer come after me be able to use. I've gotten comfortable using APIs if they're not too complex. So I've done some Twilio integration where I have not used Claris Connect. I've just used things directly. Uh, I usually find that there's more capability in doing that than what Claris Connect has to offer. I hope that one day that will change. Haven't really had an opportunity or need to use Claris Studio yet, so that's still kind of a blank area for me. Uh, so uh, I don't know if that answers your question. I'm not averse to new technologies and new advancements. I have a
You
lot of other developers in my age group that, oh my God, I got to learn JSON. I got to learn APIs. I hate this. Whereas you have a young group of developers out there that might come fresh out of college who have all the, they have a skill set to use maybe even a full stack of things that I was when I got my computer science degree back in the late '80s. None of this stuff existed. C was a brand new baby, and
Mhm.
there was no HTML, and none of this stuff existed. The language of choice back then was Pascal. So
Joe,
there's
you have
that.
a
Yeah,
comment?
that's great.
Yeah, along with that, what are your uh we talked a little bit about some of the things that you've liked about the platform. But along with that, what are some of your favorite tools? Like, are there tools that you use in your toolbox that have kind of become your standard go-to for troubleshooting or for design or kind of whatever?
Well, I think the one, I'm not a big fan of plugins, but the one plugin I do use is the Monkey Bread plugin for the actually for debugging purposes. I don't really have a Monkey Bread license. I use the free features, and I just find it incredibly helpful when I'm looking at a script to be able to find, variables that are misspelled and things like that that you might just gloss over really easily. And some of the search features, I think that's a wonderful plugin. So other
I
than
think we
that,
should
there's
have,
not a lot of others.
I think we should have some sort of like celebratory sound that we can make whenever we praise the monkey bread solution because we all
Yeah.
love it. It's great.
Hmm.
I suppose
Well,
it could
for
be a
those
good
of us who
good
don't know
drinking
what it
game.
is, all right, Joe, what is the monkey bread solution?
It's to put it simply, it's a plugin that's offered that has a number of functions. But as far as I know, most developers use it for the syntax coloring, which gives you a lot more control over of what your syntax, what your code looks like when you're looking at it, either in a script of the script workspace or in a calculation. And it also there are options for turning on variable checking, so you can see if you've misspelled a variable somewhere in the script and it's not defined properly. There are all sorts of additional really just code tools. Even in the free version, the paid version has an unlimited number of functions. And Christian, the guy who writes it, is just so on top of things. Like whenever the bug is found or a request is made, he can have it ready in minutes. So a very, very thorough, very well bit tool in our toolbox.
Is he a one man shop too?
I believe so. He's just small, a very small
I think he's got a couple people working with him.
okay, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So uh, I think the other tool that I like to use is FM Perception, uh,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
especially
Also,
in inherited
for a bell.
databases.
Ding ding.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's our sound. We got that one too. Another another utilized tool for sure.
Okay,
Yeah. And
Mike, what does that
and
one do?
that one will take what we call DDR, a database design report, something that FileMaker can generate, and then put it into the ability to analyze it. I can actually show you. Uh, I'll just take this one here. This is a fairly simple one. So this basically will let you take a look at all your tables, and you can then say, hey, look at the tables, take a look at the fields, and you can take a look at this field here, and you can see what layouts it's on, what references. I'm finding one that doesn't show much, but let's see if there's anything in all references. No, I don't see anything there, but it will actually kind of give you an overview. So if a client says, "Hey, let's change this," I can kind of go through and take a look at everything that thing might touch and avoid making some sort of critical mistake on it. So I find it a really handy tool, and it's really interesting because since I'm working at Beeswax, I've had also the opportunity to use and the inspector product that Vince at Beeswax has made, and I don't even have to pay for it, but I still prefer this one. Though they both have their advantages and disadvantages.